Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Aggieville Alleycats podcast. Where come rain, shine, or anything in between, we're here to deliver to you the Kansas State sporting news that you so love. I'm Ace Edwards, right alongside
Connor Baltazar.
And today, welcome to this weekly recap, which will actually probably be pretty quick because we have exactly two things to cover. And no matter how much we stretch and go into detail on those two things, I don't see this being a particularly long episode.
Yeah, I mean, considering we just had like a half recap thing on like Tuesday, the not much has happened since then.
Yeah, the
It's
Chiefs won their game in a thriller. I
pretty
feel bad
cool.
for Justin Herbert.
He was trying his best, which was really good, but
Yeah. But anyway, we're just going to go over the soccer game, the volleyball game, and then, of course, the wacky segment of the week. But let's go ahead and dive. Actually, before we do that, just want to talk about the recent announcement of where the Cayman Classic is going to be streamed, which is on Flow Basketball. I just wanted to mention it because who has Flow Basketball?
this happens like every year for like some preseason tournament that K-State's in, or like some like non-conference tournament that K-State's in, where it's on some. Well, I was about to say some obscure streaming service. It's always Flow Basketball, and nobody has it, and it's like $30 for a month because they know that they're just gonna like trap some D1 audience into like buying it for like 3 games, which I will absolutely not be doing. So
Yeah, I will sooner sail the seven seas. Or
I
I'm
I
not going
will
to, but
I will listen to Wyatt Vision instead.
yeah. I I just think it's somewhat disappointing, but not entirely unexpected.
It's just a shame.
It could have happened to anybody, and it does. It
It
does.
does, yeah.
But yeah, well, now moving on to the recap portion, starting off with soccer. The K-State soccer team picked up a victory up against the Colorado State Rams. They entered this contest 3-2-1 with a victory, a 3-0 victory in favor of your Kansas State Wildcats. That moves them to 4-3-1, so at 500 in terms of, wins. But this was it's a game that was pretty dominant by the Wildcats. In terms of scoring, Kyler Goins scored in the 16th minute. It was her fifth goal on the year. And then at the 19-minute mark, Kyler Goins again scored. And then again at 19 minutes, 51 seconds, Bailey Nemechek scored her first goal of the year. And all of those capped off the scoring. So all of the scoring was done within, 3 minutes of each other. So congratulations to the Soccer Cats for getting, bang, bang, bang plays.
Yeah, and those last two from Gones and Nemechek, those were both in the 20th minute. So everything was happening pretty quickly there. And then Kyler Gones gets the brace, gets the 2 goals. I don't remember the last time the team has had someone get 2 goals in a match, mainly because we rarely score 2 goals in a match. We generally just get one. So
Yeah.
but yeah, this was a pretty dominating victory with just a real hot streak there. And also a match where it seems like we really let off the gas at the end and got a lot of substitutes in. First half, 12 shots for K-State, 1 for Colorado State. On the match as a whole, K-State had 16. Colorado State just had 4. K-State had 8 shots on goal and a goose egg in the shots on goal column for Colorado State. Corner kicks, K-State had 5, Colorado State had 2, and fouling was roughly even 8-11 in favor of K-State there. And then also Kyler Goins was involved on every goal because she assisted the Bailey Nemechek goal as well. So she was involved in every single goal, which is really, really impressive. But yeah, 3-0 win against Colorado State. Nice to see. Elena Wehrmeyer had a very, very easy night, at least on the stat sheet. Uh,
Didn't leave the
um,
field.
yeah, didn't have to register a save. Just 4 shots came in her direction. So pretty nice for her. They were able to rotate in almost everybody. They had it looks like just as many, if not more, substitutes as they did starters get into the match, which is really nice. Good for the younger players to get in and play some. But yeah, a resounding 3-0 win. Not a lot to really say about it because, well, for one, I was unable to watch, but it was just a really nice win where all the scoring came at once, which is really strange. Kind of very unusual, I guess is how I'll say it. But
Yeah,
yeah, good for the soccer team.
yeah,
It's a yeah, get about 500.
it's a shame that they had to kick off at the exact same time as the Chiefs game.
Yeah, that could happen to anybody, truly. But
Yeah, it really could have. But congratulations to the Soccer Cats moving 4-3-1 on the year. Their next game is going to be up against South Dakota State this Sunday in Brookings, South Dakota. It is on Jackrabbits All Access, whatever that means. I also imagine that it'd probably be like radioed because I'm not sure there's any other sporting events going on at 1 p.m. on a Sunday. But I
yeah,
guess you never know. And then conference play opens up 1 week from today up against Iowa State in Ames. So, and that's on Big 12 now on ESPN Plus. So, always support the Soccer Cats. But moving on to another women's team, and that is the women's volleyball team, who's had a really, really nice start to the year and had another matchup up against the University of Missouri Kansas City, UMKC Roos. And this was a 3-0 victory in favor of Kansas State, with only the last set being particularly close. It was 25-14, 25-13, and then 31-29. And this was actually in Kansas City. And had a pretty decent attendance, 702. But Connor has you for the more in detailed statistics.
yeah. But before I start, something I learned recently is that UMKC is trying to rebrand to just being Kansas City instead of UMKC. Which I like. I first I thought it was just constant misprint every time that we like faced them. I was like, why are they putting Kansas City instead of UMKC? Turns out that's because they asked us to, and they're asking everybody to, which is kind of strange, I guess. I mean, I guess I get it because Kansas City is a little bit more definite than UMKC because UMKC can mean anything. I mean, like IUPUI, like same problem.
Oh,
Although
yeah,
I
I
think
guess
that
that's true.
but yeah, the Cats regardless. Resounding victory in this one. Although, yeah, like you said, the last set did get pretty close. It actually did go past set point and match point. But K-State ends up winning 31-29 that last set. The other ones were double digit wins for K-State. Individually, or I suppose I should say as a team, K-State hits 245, pretty good. Kansas City has an absolutely atrocious attacking day, 0.018 as a team, just barely above zero there. That is a really, really rough slash line for them. I don't know if slash line applies. One of they had 25 attack errors to 27 kills and 112 attempts. Pretty rough. But on the K-State side of things, a lot of people hitting pretty well. Haley Warner had a really nice day, 11 attack attempts, 7 kills, 2 errors, hitting 455, getting really close to 500. And then also had a few digs, some block attempts, a couple assists. Sydney Bolding had a nice day again as well, 267 hitting percentage, 15 attack attempts, 6 kills, 2 errors. Elena Baca had another good day too. She hit 28 attack attempts, 10 kills, just 2 errors. Did have 3 service errors though. The service errors were another problem for volleyball. That continues to be a highly inconsistent stat for the volleyball team. 14 errors to just 6 aces in the serving column. Really need to get that under control as we get closer to Big 12 play because that can really burn a team down the road. Leah Carter didn't have an incredible day. 20 attack attempts, 6 kills, 5 errors, then 3 service errors, so just 1 ace. So not the best, not the worst. Shaylee Myers had a nice day. 21 attack attempts, 8 kills, 2 errors. a lot of what I've noticed is that the offensive talent around Aaliyah Carter has been doing really well recently, which to me, what that's saying is Aaliyah Carter is getting the focus of the defense as she should. And that's really opening things up for Elena Baca or Shaylee Myers to really take advantage and bolster their stats and take the offensive load.
Yeah.
Other than that, not much else going on in the offensive column. Ava LeGrand had 3 attack attempts and 2 kills. She's been getting a little bit more playing time. She saw time in 2 of the 3 sets. She had 15 sets as well, as did Lauren Hinkle. Beyond that, not much else really to report. Molly Ramsey had 10 digs. Mackenzie Morris had 9. Not a ton going on here. Other than this was a pretty resounding victory for K-State over allegedly now Kansas City and not UMKC. Um, and the Cats end up moving to 9-2 after this one with just 2 more non-conference games before they get into their season opener for Big 12 play, which will be a home fixture against KU same day as the OU football game. So that start time got moved up because it originally was a 7 p.m. start. So now
Yeah, they figured that one wasn't going to work.
it was not going to work. So I'm glad that they moved that.
Yeah. Also, completely unrelated to everything. I every single time I hear you say aces as like a volleyball stat, like I look at you like, yeah, what's up? I still do that. And it's really messed up. And this is a completely unrelated side tangent. Because when we played when in my high school football, we had a formation that was 5 ace every single time. And I'm not joking when I say every single time that was called, I would just like run up and down the sidelines, like, what's going on? Why am I needed? I'm a defensive player. What's happening here? And then I'm like, wait, no, it's the formation. And then I'd go sit down. But yeah.
I mean,
So
we should maybe talk to the volleyball stat people to rename some of this. Do you think maybe service? I don't know. What can we call them instead of service aces? Like service kills? I don't know. They call them kills on the attacking side.
corners, I don't know.
Corners.
Service corners, I don't know. Because it's that way in tennis as well. Either neither here nor there. The next 2 games for K-State volleyball are the day this episode comes out, September 16th, up against Rice in Houston, and then up against number 17 Crichton, which is this Saturday, which you can all view online. That's literally all it
That's
says is
very
online.
vague. The Rice game says YouTube, so I guess
Yeah,
Rice just is like setting up a live stream.
I guess so. They're streaming live on Twitch.
That would be so funny. You know what? That's what they should put the basketball tournament on. They should just stream it on Twitch and just let us watch on there. And I'm sure there's gonna be a uh alternative Twitch stream available somewhere anyways, but
Yeah. Yeah, the matchup I'm really interested in is the one against Crichton because they're coming in ranked 17th in the country. So I think that'll be a really big test to see if this is simply a team that's kind of been feasting on weaker competition or if it's a team that is legit and should keep like advancing in the tournament in mind.
I am looking forward to that for that reason as well because they're 9-2. I'm gonna go out on a limb and say they probably beat Rice. So they're gonna be 10-2 going into that match. And then Creighton is a really highly regarded team, allegedly. And so I wanna I'd really like to see them get a victory against them because right now they really need to bolster their resume. Creighton right now they're 7-2. Their only losses have been to number 16 Kentucky and number 2 Nebraska. Which that was a 2-3 or 2-3 loss for Creighton. Really tightly contested match. And something to note about that was the highest attended volleyball match ever, I believe.
Really?
It had it was played in Omaha and it was almost 16,000 people for number 17 Creighton. and number 2 Nebraska. It was broadcast on FS1. So this is a good Creighton team. They just went and beat Florida State and Omaha. They beat number 25 USC 3-1. They beat Iowa State 3-0. They beat Wichita State 3-1. They beat Wyoming 3-1. They're playing generally better competition than we are. Somehow they beat South Dakota 4-0. I don't know how that happened. That is more sets than you're supposed to play. Might have been it looked like it was an exhibition match where they just played more sets for some reason to get more people in, I guess. But
Sure, whatever.
hardly matters. But the point that I'm trying to make here, doing it really clumsily, is that Creighton is a really, really good team. And that's the sort of upset that could take this non-conference resume from wholly unimpressive to semi-interesting, at least. And at the very least, a competitive match is needed against Creighton, I'd say.
Yeah, I just prefer we didn't get just like smoked.
If we can take a set or a minimum be competitive in all of our sets, kind of similar to how we were last year with Nebraska, where I think we technically got swept, but every set was really close, as I recall.
Yeah.
So I'm hoping that we can do something similar for this Creighton match.
Yep. Yeah, that pretty much wraps up the recap segment of this week. Told you it'd be a short one, but now we're going into the wacky segment of the week. And this week's segment is pick one K-State coach to suit up for the K-State Wildcats and start. You can pick the position, but they have to be as is now. So you can't like have prime Colin Klein under center. You have to take him as he is now. So my question for you, do you want to go first or do you want me to go first?
I will go first.
Okay.
This was a
With the first overall pick in the 2022 Aggieville Alleycats coach draft, Connor Balthazar selects.
well, I have some stuff to say first. So I bounced around on this a little bit because for one, because it's in current form and all of them are at least like a few years removed from playing. It's difficult to narrow someone down and actually say that they would be talented like on the field. The position coaches I will say that I considered were like Van Malone and Colin Klein, and that was pretty much it. And I didn't really go much beyond that. I don't know, maybe Kleiman still got something left in the tank to go out and be a corner. But I ended up going through a few GA bios and I'm partial to a Tevin Madison. Because from what I could tell, at least he's played competitive football the most recently of anybody on the staff. He was at Texas Tech from 2014 to 2016, played at West Alabama in 2017. And then 2019, he played some arena football for the Iowa Barnstormers, which is only like 4 years ago or 3 years ago, whatever. I don't know. 4 years ago. And so I'm gonna roll with Tevin Madison, who I just learned today was a graduate assistant. I'm hoping that he can really step on the field, and I don't know what position he played. But I'm gonna guess defensive back because he was defensive back's assistant at Southeast Missouri and now is a defensive graduate assistant at K-State. So I'm gonna tentatively say he was a defensive back based on the heavily anecdotal evidence I have, but that's my pick.
That's fair. That's a good number one overall pick. So I, like you, was heavily considering Colin Klein. But then I looked at the comparison photos between how Colin Klein looked when he was playing and how he looks now. I am not sure that he could take a hit right now because he's slimmed down a lot. So
Yeah.
that pretty much eliminated him from me. I was tempted to go with Van Malone just because of his playing experience. The fact that He was at one point a defensive back for the Detroit Lions. Granted, this was back in the 1990s. So there are a lot of people that I went over. I glanced over Joe Klanderman because he's the safeties coach. Turns out he was a defensive lineman, so that pretty much knocked him out immediately.
What?
Yeah, Joe Klanderman was a defensive lineman.
You are joking.
No, I'm
There's no
not.
way.
But the pick that I ultimately ended up making was I'm going to have Brian LePack line up as the starting H-back. And the main reason I say that is because starting H-back or starting fullback is one of the hardest positions to screw up. And I think that Brian LePack could do it because he is an ex-offensive lineman. That's my pick. Plus, he's relatively young. I don't want to trot out Chris Kleiman. He's needed on the sidelines. I don't want to trot out Colin Klein. I fear for him. But my pick is going to be the number 2 overall pick is going to be Brian LePack for my roster.
You know what? That's fair. And also, he'll bring a level of intelligence to the offense because he went to law school and then just decided to not do that,
Yeah.
which is I simply can't understand that thought process. It's worked out for him because he's now a Division I coach. But I mean, he went to law school and then was a GA for 5 years after that, which pretty much means that you're not getting paid. Like, as I understand it, like
Yeah.
he was a GA from 14 to 16 at Indiana, and then from 17 to 19 at OU. And then after that, he was the run game coordinator at Southern. Not Southern anything in particular, just Southern.
Southern.
It's just down there somewhere.
Somewhere there, somewhere on Earth. Watch it be Southern, like Massachusetts or something.
I would be so mad if Southern University was like in Southern, like Southern was in like Southern North Dakota or something.
Okay. Well,
Like the southern part of a directional. It's got to be in the South somewhere.
it is in the South. Can you guess what state?
I'm gonna say Mississippi.
Louisiana. It is
Oh,
Southern
that was close.
University and A&M College in Baton Rouge.
Interesting.
Actually, there are 2 of them. There's Southern University A&M in Baton Rouge, and there's Southern University at New Orleans.
At New
And
Orleans.
Southern University Shreveport. Oh God, which one? Oh no.
It's like a chain restaurant.
Which one has a football? Uh uh
I have no idea.
it's it uh I'm
I
trying to
don't know.
figure it out so much. All I can
I,
get is Southern. It's oh God. Baton Rouge. Okay. So
Baton
Southern is
Rouge.
Baton Rouge. It's an HBCU.
Interesting. Yeah. Well, yeah, apparently LePac coached there for a year, down in Louisiana, and then came to K-State. So good for him. But he just has such an interesting background. Like going from playing at Oklahoma to just being like, I'm gonna do law school, and then doing that and say, I don't really want to do that anymore. Like graduating and passing the bar, and then just being like, I'm okay.
Bored. Football.
I'm gonna go coach football instead for free.
Okay.
More power to you, LePac.
Yeah.
It's worked out for him. So
Yeah, it's worked out pretty well for him. But
good for him.
yeah, good for you. Yeah, as well as for being a second overall pick. That's obviously the more prestigious of the 2.
That is a big honor. I don't think he's aware of it, but someone needs to tell him about it, that he was the second overall pick and coaches on the staff that we think could play today.
Behind the GA.
Yeah.
But
Behind
yeah,
Tevin Madison.
number 1 overall pick, Tevin Madison. But that pretty much wraps up this episode of the Aggieville Alleycats podcast. Thank you all so much for listening. If you want to contact or follow the show, we're at Aggieville Alleycats on Twitter. That's capital A, and capital C in cats. Excuse me. If you want to email us, we're at AggievilleAlleycats@gmail.com. If you want to follow us on a more personal note, I'm at AC Edward00.
I am at Connor Baltazar, capital C, capital B.
And if you want to support the show financially, please be sure to check out the official Aggieville Alleycats merch store, where you can find such designs as the staff-approved Doontang Clan, Play Sandstorm Cowards, and, of course, Neon Alleycats. But most importantly, thank you all for listening to this episode of the Aggieville Alleycats podcast. Where come rain, shine, or anything in between, we're here to deliver to you the Kansas State sporting news that you so love. Stay safe, Alleycats.